All right, Cody, please cut the music. My friends, this is Howard Riell. The show is Riell Truth. You're not going to make any mistakes about who I am and where you are. Thanks for tuning in. Not a minute to waste. I want to tell you what scum we have in the major media. Here is a CNN interview with Donald Trump's former butler. Now, you're going to hear the tart who's interviewing him, the news tart on CNN, asking the kind of questions designed to elicit dirt. She's trying to get the dirt on Donald Trump. Tell us what he's really like. And what she gets, she not only doesn't expect, but doesn't want. Listen to the words, and then listen to the silences. Here we go.
What exactly is up with that? Let's ask a man who might know him best. I'm joined by Tony Senecal. He is the estate historian from Mar-a-Lago, Trump's Florida estate, and the former longtime butler to Mr. Trump. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for being here. So, first question, you going to watch tonight's big debate?
Of course.
And when you watch Mr. Trump at these debates, is he the man you know personally, or is he someone else?
No, he's the man that I know. For 20-some years, we carried on that same debate.
What same debate?
The debate that he's having now, his interest in the American people, his patriotism. The man was born on Flag Day. He's a very patriotic person. Excuse me, and he wants what's best for this country.
And a lot of voters really do believe that. Other voters are puzzled when Mr. Trump does things like he did at that news conference when he brought out the Trump water and the Trump steak. Why do that?
Because he was challenged on that. That it wasn't true, that he didn't have the water, that he didn't have the magazine, that he didn't have a steak. It's all bull.
Silence.
You mean it's all bull when people say he's not the great businessman he passes himself off to be?
Absolutely.
Even the allegations against Trump University you think aren't true?
My friends, she's reaching, she's trying, she's clawing, she's got to get some dirt on Donald Trump, and his former butler is not cooperating. He's saying only good, positive things about Trump, and you can see already her panties are in a knot. And she's wondering, who booked this guy on the show? He's not doing what we want to do, because after all, our job is to get Donald Trump. And he's not cooperating. When you go to my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio, you'll see the look on this chick's face. Looks like she's sitting in chocolate pudding. Let's continue. Keep listening for the words and the silence.
That's in court. Let the court decide that.
But it is fair to bring it up, right? Because shouldn't voters know that it's in court and why it's in court?
She's straining. She's got to connect Trump to a lawsuit. She's got to find something to pin on Trump. And the sucky part for her is, there is nothing. This guy worked with Trump for over 20 years, and he didn't see any dirt. He didn't see any Trump fire-breathing monster, racist, homophobe, misogynist. He saw a good, decent guy and a very smart guy, and it's driving the CNN babe crazy. Let's keep listening.
Sure, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
So you know it probably will be brought up at tonight's debate because, you know, there's Florida and there's Ohio coming up, and Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio and John Kasich have to make their mark.
Yeah, but I think Rubio's going to back off a little bit. He's been just absolutely obnoxious. First, he has not represented this state. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he is taking American money under false pretenses. I wouldn't vote for him in this state for anything.
Silence.
Donald Trump says he's going to take a softer tone in tonight's debate. Do you believe him?
Sure.
course he believes Trump, because Trump doesn't lie. Now, this news babe, and I don't know her name, and it doesn't really matter. She's interchangeable with every other chick on TV who got her job because she looks good and she can read. She didn't want to hear anything negative about Rubio. Rubio is the hopeful of the establishment. So she's not only getting nothing that she can pin on Trump, but she's getting fire going at Marco Rubio, whom CNN wants to build up. Do you see? Her plans are being foiled by simple, straight truth. Let's finish this up. Another long silence.
What's a softer tone when you say that about Donald Trump?
He probably won't pick on Rubio as badly as he has. He may not even call him Little Rubio anymore. Little Marco.
Silence.
Can you tell my viewers something about Donald Trump that they don't realize?
She's still looking for dirt.
Yeah, I tell you, first of all, he's an incredibly generous person. He's been generous to his employees. He's generous to strangers. He's an entirely nice guy. He's not the great gruff person that people play him out to be. Sure, you attack him, he's going to fight back. But most of the time, he's just a nice man. I mean, I lasted with him for 20 years. He had to be pretty good.
I have to leave it there. Tony Senecal, thank you so much.
Yeah, she has to leave it there because she's been a complete failure. She was told by the people she works for, interview this guy and get something we can hang on Trump. She failed 101%. Not only did she not get anything bad about Trump, she got plenty of good about Trump, and she got bad about Marco Rubio. And I think this guy is right. Trump's not going to talk to insult Rubio tonight because Rubio doesn't matter anymore. His presidential aspirations are finished. He's done. He's just taking up space now. But the media comes with a pre-selected menu and an agenda. And they aim to get the agenda. They're not here to provide objective news reporting. That means that's the death of the objective media by and large. It's the selling of the media. It's the whoring of the media. And they do a terrible disservice to this country. And I want you to know about it, because you're a consumer of media, and caveat emptor. This is Riell Truth. It's Thursday. I'll be right back. So will you. Don't go anywhere.
Howdy folks, have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz, or call us at 303-829-5948.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Earth. How many times have you gone into a health food store and are confused as to the many different brands and prices on the same herbal supplements? You want to buy the cheapest, but you're afraid the quality is less, so you buy the most expensive. Truth is, the cheapest may be better. Green Herb herbal supplements are all manufactured in our Wheat Ridge, Colorado plant at 4565 Kipling Street, using the highest quality herb that we source from all over the world. Our 150 different herbal supplements are the most potent and safest in America. Our guarantee is your money back, no time limit, just return the bottle empty or full, no questions asked. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB, that's 888-765-4372.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
Guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. I am, as always, Howard Riell. I think there's a Republican debate on tonight. Plan to watch it. Watch for the many ways that the moderators and the other candidates and even the lobbyists in the crowd all try to get Donald Trump. But it's like he's made of Teflon. The more they go after him, the stronger he gets, because we know it's basically the political mafia that's going after him. Now, here's Donald Trump. He was just interviewed yesterday by Hannity for an entire hour. Here's a little piece of that interview. Trump knows how the establishment works because, as he says, he used to be a member of that establishment. Donald Trump, Sean Hannity, Fox News. Here we go.
Meeting that took place in Sea Island, Georgia. Mitch McConnell was there, a lot of rich millionaires and billionaires. Heard the speech of Governor Romney. There seems to be a concerted effort to prevent you from getting the 1,237 delegates because they want a brokered convention. They want a contested convention. John Kasich said, well, that would even be exciting, and he acknowledged to me that would be the only path he would have to the nomination.
It's the only way he can get it, and he's got a lot of problems, I think, in Ohio. Look, thank you. It's very sad. I heard 59 planes flew in from all over the world. These are people that are taking advantage of our country. These are people that I know, many of them. I can even look at their plane and say, who owns this one, who owns that one? I know them. And they're all flying in because, they don't want to have strong borders. They want stuff flowing across the borders. They don't want to have taxation when countries treat us unfairly because they benefit from that. And we have to. Otherwise, we're going to continue to lose our businesses. I mean, you have China sending things into this country, no tax, no nothing. If you want to do business in China, it's almost impossible. And if you get your product there, you're going to pay a tremendous tax. But so, you know what? I want beautiful free borders. I want everything to be nice, but it doesn't work.
This is a concerted effort to prevent you from getting the nomination, and it appears, based on the names of the people there, that they're willing to spend millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars to stop.
Well, they've already spent it. I mean, we had a great night last night. I love it. It was a great group. Look, did we have a great night last night? Was that? Night with all the victories. I mean, that was a tremendous. Even some of these pundits who are the absolute worst, least talented. They won't talk about them on your show.
All right.
Because they happen to be on Fox, many of them. But I will say, that was a phenomenal evening for Trump. And the victories, and not only the victories, the margins they were landslides. They were all landslides. So here's what's happening. The biggest story in politics today is the fact that during the Republican primaries, so many people, millions and millions of additional people are showing up to vote. It is a phenomenon. It's been on the cover of Time magazine numerous times. I've been on the cover of Time magazine like 4 times in a short period of time. Can you believe it? I've been on, I think 2 times in my lifetime, and I've been on 4 times. Politics is really a lot of fun. But the fact is, we have altogether, we have a movement going on. And it's a movement of competence and common sense. And thank you. It's a movement of competence and common sense and low taxes and so many other things. And by the way, and borders. And they would be so foolish, Sean, to give it away.
I agree with you.
The people that would be so foolish to throw that away.
When you see the numbers and the percentages, this percentage increase on the Republican side, clearly the energy is there.
Yeah.
On the Democratic side, it is depressed. It's down 35, 40%. Right. So last night you talked about reconciliation. You talked about unity. You talked about bringing the party together, electing Republican senators and congressmen, and even conversations with Paul Ryan. Bring us in that conversation. How are these people that are there now responding to you behind the scenes?
Well, some have called me, and some it's very personal and very quiet and confidential. And I've been called by the biggest people in the world of politics. I've been called by certain establishment people that you wouldn't even believe. I was called by Paul Ryan, who was very, very nice. I like Paul Ryan. I've always liked. I like maybe a little bit stronger border than he would like, and that's okay, and we can get that done. But He called, and he was very, very. It was very, very good that he did.
You said something else
And
last
others,
night.
and by the way, and others.
Some have questioned. Look, you're a tough businessman, a fighter. Some of the debates we were discussing with the crowd before have gotten very intense. And some say, well, Donald Trump, this is what Mitt Romney said, doesn't have the temperament to be president. You said last night, I can be as presidential as anybody. Talk about the temperament.
You know, it's actually quite a complicated subject. I had there were 17 people that started, all capable people, you know, senators and governors. I mean, we're not talking about babies, and they got there by guile and intelligence. So I started off with 17. Everybody that's attacked me is gone. Do you ever notice that? Wouldn't that be nice for our country? Everybody. So we're now down to 4. But you know, when I'm doing that, I can't be so nice. When I'm being attacked viciously, I mean, Jeb was very vicious. They were all very vicious, and they're all gone. And they've gone like where the poll numbers were 11, and then they attack me, and they go 0, and they say bye-bye. And these are not people that like me. And these are among the people that are, you know, ganging up to try and do something. Look, I feel, number one, I know this. I could be the most presidential person other than, I always joke and say, other than Abe Lincoln. He was pretty good. He was a serious president, right? He had the serious president look. But I was a great student. I went to the best schools, all that stuff. I mean, I have what it takes. But you have to, when somebody's attacking you personally and attacking you viciously, I guess they say you should, some people say, just stand up and let them say whatever they want. You're presidential. It doesn't work that way. I would be run out of town if I did that. It doesn't work that way. No, Sean, listen, at the right time, I will be so presidential that you'll call me and you say, Donald, you have to stop that. It's too much. But you know what? It is true, and I think you understand. When they attack me, I have to attack back. I'm a counterpuncher. When they attack me, if I don't attack back, you know, the press could say, oh, he should act more presidential. And then, like, a couple of days ago, I gave a speech and said, that was so presidential. I can be presidential. But when you're being attacked, and when you attack back, they say it's not.
But I see after you've had victories and you hold these press conferences, that's more the person. I've known you for 15 plus years or 16 years. That's the person that I've always known. Now, it's going to be a little different scenario. I know the Democratic playbook, assuming it's Hillary, and I know how you feel about that. Assuming it's Hillary, they're going to say Republicans are racist, sexist, homophobic, they want to poison the air, water, kill children, throw Granny over the cliff, and they hate America.
Well, by the way, and it's what they did with Romney. And
that's what they do all the time.
Especially with Paul on entitlements. Remember the famous wheelchair over the cliff and all. But look, I was hit only once by Hillary, and that was 4 weeks ago. And we haven't heard from her since. And I will tell you, I was not given proper credit because she went down during that period of time, and they gave the credit when Bernie Sanders all of a sudden started doing well. They gave all the credit. I did a big favor to him. But she said something about me, and I said something very strong about her, and Bill, it was just a counter. I haven't even started on her yet. And let me just tell you this. The one person she does not want to run against is me. That I can tell you. You know, I watch on your show Ted Cruz, and I watch these people, and they say, oh, well, number one, I'm beating her beautifully in polls. In fact, one came out today where I'm beating her very nicely in polls, but I haven't even started on her yet.
So you're saying this is a preview of coming attractions?
No, I'm just saying we're going to win. I'm just saying we're going to win. And the other guys aren't going to win. One thing I do that nobody else can do, I'm going to bring places like Michigan into play. Nobody else is going to win. Ted Cruz and Rubio, I think Rubio's out of it now, but Ted Cruz is not going to win Michigan. Ted Cruz is never going to win. Got it.
My friends, Trump is right. He's not only against the millionaires and billionaires and the politicians and the party apparatchiks, he's up against the media too. All those parties, all the fat cats, all the establishment people, all the entrenched hierarchies, they're all the adversaries of the American people and the American experiment in democracy, freedom, and liberty. They make out like bandits when America crumbles, when Americans crumble with it. That's why Trump has to succeed. Item. From CBN.com, GOP presidential candidate Ted Cruz tells the Brody File that the reason Donald Trump is performing well in the GOP race for president is because his voters are uninformed and not engaged in the process. Quote, Donald does well with voters who have relatively low information, who are not that engaged, and who are angry, and they see him as an angry voice. Where we're beating him is when voters get more engaged and they get more informed. Unquote. Hunch. I'm thinking Trump and his silent majority may push back on this just a bit. Don't you think? Unquote. I do think so, because basically Ted Cruz called Trump supporters stupid. Now, I'm a Trump supporter, and maybe I'm not a good example. Most Trump supporters are very, very bright, informed, passionate people. And by the way, if you're reading the stuff I'm reading about Ted Cruz and his ties to the Bush crime family, and his wife's connection to Goldman Sachs and Citibank, maybe it's the Cruz supporters who have to read a little bit more. Check it out for yourself on Google. Item. From KDKA in Pittsburgh, nearly 46,000 Pennsylvania Democrats have switched to Republicans since the beginning of the year. According to Penn Live, some experts attribute the mass exodus to Donald Trump. There's even a title for the movement. It's called Ditch and Switch, and calls for lifelong Democrats to abandon the party, register Republican, and help ensure Trump's place in the general election. Unquote. My friends, that is the power of Donald Trump, to bring people from every group, every demographic, to his cause, because people can tell in their bones he's speaking the truth and he honestly wants to make America great again. And you know, when the bad guys hate someone, that someone is probably a good guy. Item from the Daily Caller. Neil Bush, the son of President George H.W. Bush, who defrauded U.S. taxpayers out of $1.5 billion in the savings and loan scam, and later peddled influence for the Chinese government who plied him with Chinese prostitutes, has formally endorsed Senator Ted Cruz for president. You can't make this stuff up. Unquote. My friends, yesterday Ted Cruz received another endorsement from an organization called NAMBLA, N-A-M-B-L-A, which, if you don't know, first of all, you're lucky that you don't know. NAMBLA is the North American Man-Boy-Love Association. It's a group of pederasts who want to see man-boy-love become legal. They came out squarely in favor of Ted Cruz. So for all the pinheads out there who started screaming when David Duke endorsed Donald Trump, well, I expect to hear the same screaming now that the North American Man-Boy-Love Association and Neil Bush have come out in favor of Ted Cruz. So I'm listening for the media uproar. Item from NCSCooper.com, Dateline Seattle. The controversial, here it is. It's the piece. I am so way out ahead of myself, it's not funny. Item from The Hill. The aggressive posture of the FBI under Director James Comey is becoming a political problem for the White House. Stop. James Comey, apparently, based on people who know, is an honest guy, which is why he's having friction with the criminals and the whores in the Obama administration. He wants to do what the law and common sense and the evidence say he must do. He wants to go after Hillary Clinton and bring an indictment, but the Democratic powers would be saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hillary's our meal ticket. We want Hillary. Forget about the law. Forget about national security. Forget about the fact that she's a lying pig who's inept and never accomplished anything in her life, that everything she's ever gotten has been only because she married Bill Clinton. Forget the laws that she might have broken and the constitutional protections that she stepped all over. We want power, James Comey, and we don't want you getting in the way. Well, my friends, we've reached a kind of a turning point in American politics, haven't we? It's either going to be business as usual, which is killing America, or it's going to be the Trump revolution, which is going to bring America back from the brink. You decide which side of history you want to be on. I'll be right back.
Howdy, folks. have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz, or call us at 303-829-5948.
Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you compliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities at modest emergency lighting all the way to commercial-scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom-designed system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld His glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of Him and cried out, saying, This was He of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for He was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network. Since the uniform people really ask everyone to get involved in our community this holiday season, whether it's a toy for a needy child, care package for military members, or giving the gift of life by giving blood, you can make a difference and directly affect someone else's life. This message is from Census, the uniform people included. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. Named one of the most admired outsourcing companies in America. Census.
My friends, it's Thursday. Haven't been able to say that in an entire week. Rush Limbaugh talking to Chris Wallace on Fox News. That's all you need to know going in. Listen up.
But first, the king of conservative talk radio, Rush Limbaugh, who joins us from his EIB studio in Florida. And Rush, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Chris, thank you. It's great to be here. And I want to let everybody know at the top, folks, he may have to interrupt me because I don't usually speak in 10 to 11-minute segments. So do not get mad if he has to interrupt me to keep him on the track he wants to stay on. How's that?
Thank you. That's a dispensation from the Pope. Thank you very much.
And I'm going to do my best. You know, brevity is the soul of wit, so let's go.
Okay, let's go. Let's start with Mitt Romney's speech this week in which he basically joined the anybody but Trump movement. You say that is going to backfire with Trump supporters, and other voters are going to see it as the establishment trying to tell them what to do. With Mitt Romney listening, explain what he's missing.
Well, it's all that and more, but it's not unprecedented. His dad did much the same thing against Barry Goldwater with a cabal of Republican establishment guys back in 1964. The establishment, this isn't new. The establishment not wanting outsiders, not wanting conservatives, isn't anything new. Now, Chris, very briefly, I think there's something remarkable happening here that nobody's talking about, skirting the issue. For the longest time, the Republican Party has told us that they can't win with just Republican votes. And that's why they support amnesty. That's why they support the Democrats on many of their issues to go out and get Hispanics or other minorities. Well, guess who's doing it? Donald Trump is doing it. Donald Trump has put together a coalition, whether he knows it or not, whether he intended to or not.
He's put together a coalition that's exactly what the Republican Party says that it needs to win. And yet, look what they're doing. They're trying to get Trump out of the race because they're not in charge of it. They're not in control of it. And it's the most amazing thing to watch this happen. Governor Romney comes along and tries to talk people out of Trump, and that's not going to work. You can't talk his supporters out of supporting you. But the only guy that's going to be able to do that is Trump himself.
Okay, well, let's talk about that, because there is a lot of commentary, and some of it coming from conservatives who say that the Republican Party is in danger of tearing itself apart. We've seen splits many times before over political philosophy, but that's not what's happening this time. This is the establishment, the elite of the party versus the grassroots base.
Exactly, but it really isn't anything new. They were this way with Ronald Reagan before Reagan was elected. They tried to deny Reagan in '76, and they tried to deny Reagan in 1980. They're not conservative. When I hear Governor Romney in his speech last week talk about how the Republican Party must stand for legitimate conservative values, they don't. That's why they're in the problem. They're having the problem they're having. They're not conservative. They're being run by their donors. You look at these primaries so far, do you realize they don't like Cruz either, Chris? In fact, maybe they dislike Cruz more than Trump. But Cruz and Trump are the only guys that have won anything. The establishment candidates in this race cannot get noticed. The Republican primary voters, whether they're closed primaries or open, are voting for anybody but candidates attached to the Republican establishment.
I know that you think that Ted Cruz is the real conservative in this race, and we'll discuss him in a moment, but let's talk about Donald Trump first. How would you feel, you talked about him bringing new people into the party, how would you feel if he ends up as the Republican nominee for president?
Well, I would feel much the way that I feel when anybody is elected. You deal with what you end up getting. I'm not under any illusion, Chris, that I have any ultimate say-so in this. I'm like anybody else that's in media. I've got my opinions. I share them. I'm not afraid of them. But you don't win everything. And you ultimately you have to take what you get. I think with the case of Trump, there's a much bigger upside than downside. A lot of people disagree with me on this, but the people who want somebody not of Washington, it's serious this time. It's the disconnect between the Republican Party establishment and the Democrat establishment and the people of this country is longer, broader, wider than I have ever seen it. These people in the establishment have been telling us they're the ones to fix everything, and everything they're trying to fix, they've botched. TARP, the recession fix, such as the stimulus bill. Look at college education now is an impediment because of how much it costs. A college education is no longer a step up. The American people have worn out their patience being told by their so-called betters that you don't quite know how to live your lives the right way. We need to arrange things for you so that you can do better than you would do yourself. And people think it's the other way around now. They would rather invest in themselves than listen to a bunch of people in Washington who do not have a record of fixing anything.
All right, let's talk about Marco Rubio. He had a tough night last night, 3/3 and a fourth. As we pointed out, Trump won 2 states, Cruz won 2 states. Afterwards, Trump called on Rubio to drop out and make this a 2-man race between Trump and Cruz. You live in Florida. Is Marco Rubio finished?
I don't see where he's getting traction anywhere. And again, what's harming him? You know, when Rubio won the election, he was a Tea Party darling, he was a Tea Party favorite. What happened? Gang of 8. Whatever the reality is, the perception is that he went to Washington and threw in with the quote-unquote establishment. He cannot recover from that, has not been able to recover from that. He is seen as now the candidate the Republican Party and its donors have decided to glom onto next. They tried Jeb. You know, look at Jeb Bush, $150 million, and Jeb actually stated in December 2014 that he was going to win this primary by not winning it. He was going to win it without winning base voters. They have made it clear they want nothing of their base. They're embarrassed of their base. Marco now is attached to that establishment. I don't see his future, not in this particular cycle.
You have not endorsed the candidate, but you talk very favorably about Ted Cruz. In fact, the other day you said he's the closest we're going to come to Ronald Reagan in our lifetimes. Now, I didn't know Ronald Reagan as well as you did, but I did cover him for 8 years as president.
I've got to say that I felt that Reagan was more inclusive than Cruz is, more about trying to soften the edges to get more people inside the tent. I don't think that's strategic. I think you're talking about personalities. And I said this on the air the other day. I think Senator Cruz's strategy is that there's 4.5, 5 million Republicans who didn't vote in 2012. This is the conventional wisdom. And they didn't vote because they didn't like the nominee, wasn't conservative enough, there was a religious component, who knows what. Anyway, Senator Cruz thinks that if he can get those voters, and everybody else votes the same way they did in 2012, he can win in a landslide. So he's tailored his message for a specific conservative evangelical. I think it's limited his appeal. I think he has the ability to appeal to everybody. That debate the other night that you guys did, I don't mean this to be insulting to anybody. I'm just telling you what I saw. He was on a different league. He was in a different league on a different planet. Everybody says, we need substance in these debates. You got it. You got it from Cruz.
All right, guys, you can find the rest of this video on my Facebook page, Riell Truth Radio. I urge you to go there, watch all the videos, read all the articles. It's a great place to go and get informed. Item from the Huffington Post. Senator Rand Paul said Monday, it is within Israel's power to lessen Palestinian violence by gradually granting Palestinians more freedom. Unquote. My friends, thank God Rand Paul dropped out of this race. Thank God no one in America wanted him to be president. It is one of the most colossally stupid things I've heard in the last several years to say that what will stop Palestinian violence is giving Palestinians more freedom. What will stop Palestinian violence? Getting the hell rid of the Palestinians. We'll be back. Alright guys, all done for the week. I'll be back on Monday. Share this video. Share it like crazy. Watch the debate tonight and watch for all the ways that the moderators, the moderators specifically, you expect he's going to be attacked. Trump is going to be attacked by Rubio and Cruz, and Kasich may squeak once or twice off in the corner also. Listen to the subtle and not so subtle ways that the moderators try to take Trump out. And then ask yourself, if the media, which is connected to the establishment, is being dishonest and trying to screw Donald Trump and screw the American people, do I want to vote the way they want me to vote? Or do I want to vote the way my common sense tells me? I'll see you on Monday. Hasta luego.